Hey guys, welcome back to another Daily Collective. This is for July 23rd through the 24th. And before I get into the cards, I want to tell you what I was picking up from Spirit. I wrote it down. Usually, if I feel the nudge to grab notebook and paper and write, I'll do that. And today I was. So, one of the first things that came out, and even I was in kind of like disbelief, like, yeah, right, we'll see. But I got to deliver the message, because who am I to say Spirit's wrong, So, um, so understand that before I say it, I'm aware, but I got to say it. But what they were saying, the first thing that they said was, by the first of the month, you will see progress by leaps and bounds. I also heard that you're tired of hearing broken promises. I also heard losing patience with people's inconsistencies and senselessness, and also with their melodrama. Really losing patience with other people's melodrama. Like, I got real heavy shit going on. Please, let's not talk about how, you heard your neighbor last night mowing the lawn when you was trying to sleep at 8 o'clock at night. Like, who does that? Like, we got real stuff happening, and so, like, we would welcome that kind of drama into our lives in replacement of the heavier stuff, So it's like, listening to things like that, it's really getting under our skin. And the other thing was, feel like you're playing whack-a-mole. In this way, the way that this sound is, sounded, the way it felt when I heard it was literally like, as soon as a problem pops up, boom, whack it. And then another one will pop up, boom, whack it. It's like you've been spending your time just playing whack-a-mole. Whack a problem out, whack a problem out, And it's almost like, when is this going to end, So that's what I was hearing. I know that this is like a daily collective, but for some reason, it was important for me to tell you that by the first of the month, things will be different. Okay, so, here's to wishful thinking, right? I'm hopeful. I mean, something's going to give. The dam's going to break some way, right? It's been heavy for everybody. Okay. Let's see. I'm hearing something about being adored. Now, and I have no idea if this is you being adored or you adoring somebody else. But I feel like what it's saying here is, it almost feels like, the way that this feels is like there's one person in particular that you just absolutely adore. And for anything to go wrong in that, it would just kind of like be devastating in a way. So I'm hearing that song, Don't Make Me Over. What the heck was her name? I think it was Sybil. Don't Make Me Over. This was a song from like, I want to say the late 80s, early 90s. I want to even say just the late 80s. I don't even think it was out in the 90s. I could be wrong. But, hell, I was a kid. I was like, late 80s, early 90s. I think I was like, let me see. Well, 1990, I was 15. So I think it was earlier than that. I think it was in the 80s. Don't Make Me Over from Sybil. Alright. Anyway. I had to get that out. Sorry. Let's see. Collective. Don't Make Me Over. Three of Swords. Crowning Thought. It's like somebody you adore. Like, no, not you. You know what I mean? It's kind of how this feels. Not you. Why you? The Fool. King of Wands has been coming out a lot. Six of Swords. You know, I think the Three of Swords is kind of like the driving force behind this action. But I want to clarify this King of Wands. I'm telling you, court cards, I mean, they're so useful, obviously, but man, they're not as easy to read because they're people. It's just an archetype, you know? It's like a person's, it's like somebody's personality. It's their archetype. So it's really hard sometimes to understand why somebody's personality would come out under the Three of Swords. It's like, what about that type of person is the Three of Swords significant? And that's what makes reading court cards difficult. But that's also why we clarify. Alright, King of Wands. What's going on with that? How is this King of Wands related to the Three of Swords? Hermit. You know, the King of Wands is a very daring archetype. You know, they're very spontaneous. I mean, when you think of Aries energy, Aries would represent King of Wands, right? Aries are very spontaneous, very like fly by the seat of their pants, you know, spontaneous, yeah. And so it could be that this Three of Swords is sparking the spontaneity. I don't know if I said that right, but you get it. It's something you definitely put a lot of thought into, interestingly enough. I think it was like looking at your path. You know, from the past though, like looking at where you've been and where you are, like, no, I want something different. I want something new with the, you know, the Fool is there. And I think it's because of the Three of Swords. Yeah, you've got the Emperor. Aries again. And you can embody Aries type energy without even knowing or being any way related to an Aries. And some of you may be dealing with an Aries, you know, but the energy is definitely here. Yeah, sadness, loss, and regret. I feel like some of you may be heartbroken from losing control over something that you had a firm grip on. And it was definitely a risk. You took a risk in something. Some of you took a risk. And I don't even want to say it was a calculated risk because Aries is so spontaneous, you know. But I'm feeling regret from this. You know, I really feel like this is self-sabotaging. You know, being really hard on yourself for something taking too long to manifest, and really being hard on yourself. And because you were so hard on yourself, it's almost like you punished yourself, you know? It's almost like you put yourself in a scenario or a situation where you're like, oh, well. But just as easy as it was to manifest something uncomfortable, it's easy to reverse that and manifest something more desirable. But I think, I want to say, for some of you, that there's nothing to forgive here. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, some of you may be holding yourself accountable and like feeling really guilty and feeling like you need forgiveness for something. And maybe by Maybe according to man, you should feel remorse. But according to spirit, they're like, it was an experience. Whatever it was, this is your life. However it unfolds, it's your life. This is your experience. And you are to experience life to its fullest, even if your fellow neighbor or friend or whoever doesn't understand your journey. There are quite a few people that are really old souls on this planet and wouldn't even think about doing half the stuff that some people do that are really spontaneous, you know? But that's because they've been here so many times over and over and over again. But when you take somebody who's like a brand new soul onto the scene, a brand new light worker, somebody who hasn't reincarnated so much because their soul just isn't that old, they're gonna cut up. They're gonna come here and experience to the fullest their life. They're gonna experience their life to the fullest. Whether they're making good judgments or bad judgments, it doesn't matter. They're here for an experience. And so, judgment is a man-made thing. And I feel like, for some of you, even if you're an old soul, it's sort of like you know how some people like when they reach middle age, they like 50, you know, like 50 is the new 20, you know. It's like, oh, I've been strapped down and, you know, raising kids and doing all of this and doing all of that, and now that my kids are grown and out of the house, it is time to wild out, you know. And so you'll have some people that are later in their years and later in age who do know better, but will wild out because they just feel this need to break out of this bondage, you know, this, so they think, you know, they're in bondage, you know, or just to really get out there and let loose because they just haven't been able to do that. And it's just something that's been building and building and building in all these years of raising their family and doing all this. It's just been building. And then when they finally have that moment, it's just, it explodes, you know. So even if you're an old soul, you could be experiencing stuff like this. And, you know, and if you made bad choices during that time, it's okay. It's an experience. It's okay. There's always the cleanup crew. You know what I mean? You've got the cleanup crew. It's you and God and Spirit and everybody else. That's your cleanup crew. Don't worry about other people's opinions. I mean, if you got paid to worry about other people's opinions, you'd be rich, you know? People are going to have opinions. And you're not always going to agree with them. So, the only time we get uncomfortable about an opinion is if, on some level, we can hear the truth in that. And then seeing truths about ourselves sometimes make us really uncomfortable. But that's also something that you should be grateful and thankful for. And I am just now realizing that I don't have my earbuds in. Okay, I sort of lost my train of thought for a second because I had to stop the video and go back and make sure that it was even picking up sound. So I might even sound louder right now. So I apologize. So I did lose my train of thought, but I will move forward in this because what's coming up next is the Six of Swords. And so there's been turmoil, whether it's within or wherever the turmoil's been, but it's moving away from that now. And I feel like some of you have really learned some very valuable lessons. Some of you have gained some really valuable knowledge. And in this card, you'll see this woman. It looks like she's carrying this little tiny treasure chest. but she's holding it up, like she's trying to keep it away from anything that, it's like she's protecting it, you know. And so I feel like inside that box is the knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's what's there, and it's like taking it with you, and protecting what it is that you know, what it is that you've learned. I'm also hearing the promise of a new day. Yeah. There's strength behind you. Yes, justice. The promise of a new day. Death, transformation. Yeah, and working really hard to break yourself free from anything that's kept you bound, whether it's somebody else outside of yourself, a habit, bad habit, or even just negative thoughts. You know, it's breaking free of that. Yes, clarity, having clarity. Yes, taking charge. You know, it's like not running away from the truth of something, knowing the truth of something, speaking, voicing your truth. This is something that's been pressing on your mind, causing great anxiety. And this is Eight of Cups. Like, you have to have a certain level of love for yourself in order to utilize or to be in this energy. Because when cups are involved, emotion is involved. And when you walk away from something that you feel so emotionally depleted from, it's only because you had so much emotion in it at one point. So it's not easy to embody that Eight of Cups energy. That's a very difficult decision to make. But it's like once you hear the truth of something, the reality of something, there's nothing that can stop you. You know, you're going to move forward. You may have some hiccups, people might be getting in your way, but Spirit's saying, you know, there's a dawn of a new day. It's coming. Yeah, you're following your, yes, look at this shit. Wow, that's crazy. Following your intuition. The sun. The sun. It's like better times are coming, you know? Leaving the circus, leaving the deceit, the manipulation, the inconsistencies, the senselessness, you know, leaving that behind with great passion, with that fiery, sort of like Aries type energy. Even if you're not an Aries, you can embody that energy, you know, for a new cycle, a new beginning. That's what's coming. And you're willing to put work into this. You're willing to put work into breaking free from chains that bind you. That's what I hear. All right, so I'm so sorry that about the earbud thing, but I had to go and listen to the other video because I'm gonna clip, you know, put these together. Once I edit. I am so sorry that happened, and I'm hoping that there isn't a big difference in audio. That would really be annoying. Right. So, let's see. And on my end, on the computer, it sounded, you know, loud enough, but it really depends on your devices too. So I hope you can hear it. Alright, here we go. Collective. Moving on. That Eight of Cups energy. Yeah. The rest and reconsider. You know, that's like taking time to yourself. Realizing the truth. Realizing taking the blindfold off. Observing your surroundings, like, oh my god, it's a madhouse. crazy. Something's gonna give, you know? And all you had to do was just be quiet and watch and listen. That's all you had to do. Look at that. There's that treasure chest. Manifesting. Manifesting your desires. Manifesting your reality. It's your reality. It's not Spirit's reality. It's your reality. So if you want to see results, you have to put the work in, you know? And I think you are. I just think you're tired. But don't give up. Don't settle. Don't ever settle. Never settle. Rest, yes. Settle, no. Rest is important. That's how you regroup. That's how you regroup and come back stronger. You gotta let the body heal. I don't care what anybody says. You know your own body. And if you need the rest, you need the rest. Period. You're on the right path. Trust yourself. Let's see the bottom of the deck, what that looks like. Take accountability for your own stuff. Let everybody else take accountability for theirs. Period. I mean, you can't be running around from pillar to post for everybody else. You know, how do you do more work for somebody else than you do for your own self, you know? Sometimes I feel like that's what's happening. But anyway, I hope that made sense. And I apologize for me realizing late about the earbuds. I really hope it doesn't make a big significant difference in the quality of the video. Alright, but until next time, I love you very much. Take care.